Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Okay, guys. Oh, my damn. Okay, we got a lot that we're going to be talking about in a very, very short amount of time. Unfortunately, today, guys, is a little bit crazy, a little bit busy, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to give you guys an action-packed, massive show. Just thicker than a snicker, okay? So, well, hopefully I'll be able to do that tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. Okay? This week has just been insane. Just trying to get a lot of things taken care of all at the same time, and trying to keep you guys entertained and informed on what the F is going on out here in this world. Damn! I got a lot of things, I got a lot of worries, I got a lot of concerns, and we got a lot to talk about. Like I said, we're going to be going into not multiple, but we're going to be going into a few realms today. So we are going to be doing some Lord of the Rings type stuff, going into different realms. Yes, you see the title up above or down below, wherever you're watching this show. This is not the only thing we're talking about, okay? But this is very concerning. Should concern all of us, because this has gotten out of control. So we got to talk about this. So do me a favor, please do me a favor. Okay, hit that like button down below, crush it, do it a do, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, I'm on all them mugs. So make sure you hit that reaction button. Of course, hit that follow button as well on those platforms, okay? Subscribe right here on my main channel. Check it out. Subscribe right here. But also, go check out my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well, please and thank you. Subscribe to both channels. Hit that notification bell on both platforms so you know, both channels, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, I'm taking clips that are going on, because like I said, yes, we'll be talking about Deforvida, we'll be covering things about what's going on, this HANTAVIRUS thing, which is a very big deal, okay? And there might be other things sprinkled in throughout the show. Those things you might miss, I put them on the second channel as well as clips. So make sure you are subscribed to that second channel, The Pascal Show Clips, and hit that notification bell on both channels so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. Hit that join button down below. Support the channel, dagnabbit. Support it if you can. Your boy's working hard out here in these streets. Try to get into this purple ass room and give you guys the information that you need for the day. And also, you can also support by going and checking out that Patreon. It's right there in the ticker. You can also check them out locals as well. I got locals as well. All right, if you want to support even further. And then also check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, so go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, we got to get into it. We got a lot to go into and a very short amount of time to do it, okay? Yeah, we don't have a 4-hour show today. Hopefully tomorrow will be an epic show, okay? Today's Thursday. It feels like it should be a Monday. That's how the week has been for me. I don't know about for y'all, but it's been absolutely insane, and the news just keeps on getting more and more insane. No, I just got here, guys. The show just started, okay? The show just started. Now, what's going on here is should be a massive concern for all of us. And for those of y'all who are across the pond, sipping on your tea and having tea and crumpets, gossiping and being ghastly surprised by everything that's going on in your world, you should be concerned about this too. Because here's the thing. This is going worldwide like Pitbull, y'all. Worldwide. No, we shouldn't be laughing about this. Some real talk, all because of a Mickey Mouse or a Stuart Little or a freaking Ratatouille. It's causing an outbreak right now as we speak. Multitudes of people. This is the crazy part, okay? Because now we're finding out some more corrections in the information that has been dropped recently, okay? And see, I noticed how I said dropped, because the droppings of a mouse. Don't worry about it. It's okay. We're still getting warmed up today. Okay, we're still getting warmed up. Just make sure you stretch out so you don't pull a hammy. All right. Now here's the thing. We're now hearing that there was a multitude of people that were on that boat or on that ship that have left the boat or ship, the cruise ship, in which everybody's been sick with. You see that? I mean, this is just a paused still, but you see the boat, the ship, right? The ship in which hundreds of people, 150 people are still on that mother-loving boat that are going to be quarantined there for the foreseeable future. Now, here's the thing. no one jumped ship. They just got off the boat to go back wherever they came from or to go check out some other places. So what's interesting about this is now you got health officials that are desperately trying to find others that were a part of this, that were on this ship, that are all, they've flown to different parts of the world, other corners of the mother-loving world. I just want to make sure you guys know this. Now, there's already been people who have lost their lives on the boat. Now we got other people that have lost their lives allegedly off of the boat. There are now other people that have contracted the hantavirus as well. A flight attendant. What did I say about this before? Now we got a flight attendant that contracted the virus. There are people that did contract the virus and they're coming out asymptomatic. Kind of like we heard about the, we heard about the Rona. Remember the Rona BS that we had to deal with? Some people didn't, some people would contract it and they had it, but they didn't have it. Like they didn't go through anything crazy. They weren't, sick as a dog, right? Which is a weird phrase, sick as a dog, but you get what I'm saying. Right? So this is some very interesting stuff. Multiple people have left that boat, went on planes, flew out to their respective corners of the world. Now we are hearing other places, other states, at least just talking about America. There have been people that have actually contracted this virus in America. Yes, guys. Yes. We have quite a situation to be concerned about because there are no vaccines for this. There are no treatments for this. So if you get it, you just got to go through it. And now they are saying dozens, not just 12, dozens, which 12 would be more than enough. I'd still be freaking out over a dozen, but they put an S at the end of dozen. So there's quite a few people, and I'm being really nice when I say that, but there are quite a few people that are sick or that have been in contact with somebody who had that hanta. Just so you know, hanta, you don't wanna hanta, you don't wanna. You don't want a hantavirus. You don't want the hanta. Okay? You want a Fanta, but you don't want the hanta. Yeah, I got bars today, guys. I got bars. Just off the top of the dome. Okay? So this is not good. Not good, but let's take a look at this. Okay? And if you guys don't know what I'm referencing, you never seen the Fanta? The Fanta drinks? The commercial? Don't you wanna Fanta? Don't you wanna? You know what I mean? No one? Okay. We're gonna, you don't want the hanta. But let's take a look at this. And we got a press conference we're gonna be taking a look at as well here in just a minute. More than 24 people from at least 12 different countries. Oh my damn. Do you realize how bad that is? 12 different countries. And I'm already scared. 12 of them. 12 of them countries, okay, they left the cruise ship. Keys only, yeah, man. 2026 be going hard in the paint, okay? I don't know what we did. I don't know what our ancestors did, but it's now suddenly coming back and biting us in the ass. 2026 in. And now I'm like, damn, another one? And last Trump term, his first term, we had another virus situation. Did we not? And now we back at this thing again, except they starting early this time. Yeah. And there's some information. I'm going to explain something here in just a second, okay? So at least 12 different countries left a cruise ship hit by this deadly hantavirus outbreak without contact tracing nearly 2 weeks after the first passenger died on board. So 2 weeks after this passenger passed away on board, these two individuals, or these 24 people, said, "Oh, we out." 24 plus people. Now, I've been hearing upwards of 30 to 40 people left and went back to their respective countries after the first person passed away on the boat. And don't get me wrong, it's a small boat. Let's keep it real. It's a small boat. And I mean, let's be honest. Are you going to want to sit around and chill? Are you going to want to sit around and chill in the cut after somebody just passed away on a boat? On the same ship, same ship that you were on? No, I'm out. Everything will look like death. Everything will smell like death. I'm out. And especially if you don't know what they lost. You see what I'm saying? Like, or how they lost their lives. If you don't really know what was going on, you know what I'm saying? You kicking rocks. I'm sorry. Okay? Julia Raines, thank you so much for the love. Topic's not funny, but Pascal, you're funny. Thanks. Oh, thanks. I'm sorry. I'm just me. Okay? I gotta be me. But at the same time, this is some weird stuff, right? You're not gonna stick around. Somebody passes away on the ship that you're on. The ship is supposed to be filled with fun and probably pina coladas and champagne dreams, and somebody passes away on the boat. Yeah, you're gonna be like, well, that was a buzzkill. I'm out. Especially if they don't tell you or they don't know how that person passed away. Yeah, man, keys on. I'm out. I'm like, deuces. I'm out, y'all. I'm out. Especially if I don't know what the reason that person passed away for is. If you found out that there was a virus, a viral outbreak on the boat, I feel like, yeah, you might be like, do we stay? Because do we have it? I don't want to give it to somebody, so on and so forth, blah, 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 right? But if somebody passed away on the boat, buzzkill, I'm out. If they're not explaining anything and they don't know what it is, yeah, people are going to kick rocks, okay? People are going to kick rocks and kick rocks quickly. And that's exactly what I mean, we don't know why these people left the boat, but my assumption is they left because, yeah, somebody passed away on the boat. You don't want to be on that freaking boat anymore. It's a small boat. This isn't like This isn't like a Carnival cruise ship where it's like New York City on a boat. You see what I'm saying? A floating city. No, like it's a floating city, for Christ's sakes. Whereas this is a smaller ship that houses about 150 plus people. I mean, come on. Very, very close proximities. If you really think about it, somebody passes away in the room down the hall from you. I don't know. I'm not sticking around. I'm gonna be like, I'm out. But yes, it is a floating petri dish filled with all kinds of things. Okay, germs, diseases, you name it, everything. Okay, so let's continue on. Health authorities are on at least 4 different continents are now tracking down and in some cases monitoring the cruise passengers who embarked on April 24th and trying to trace others who may have been in contact with them since then. Yikes. Okay, so look at this. So some 30 passengers embarked from the ship. And it's wild that I wonder what took them. When did they realize that these passengers or the passenger that passed away from this virus? You see what I'm saying? When did they realize, oh my damn, we shouldn't have left anybody. We shouldn't have let anybody leave this boat because this person had the hantavirus. When did they find that out? That's what I'd like to know too. Because if it was after the fact, then you can't be mad at the boat. You can't be mad at the ship and the people of the ship because they probably didn't know. You know, you're not thinking that. Maybe you're thinking he died of natural causes, etc. You see what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So something to be curious about. But you got United Kingdom, United States, Netherlands, Canada, Switzerland, Turkey. Unknown. That's not helpful. You know that country unknown. You know, they quilt their own. They make their own boats. Like what the hell's this? Okay, you got unknown. You got Germany. You got Denmark. That's not good. That I have to circle back and look at unknown again. Do you see unknown? No one's worried about unknown. You don't know where the mother loving are. Well, maybe they're like in the jungles or something, you know, in the Amazon. But you saying that it's unknown. The hell you own. It's unknown. So they could be anywhere. That's great. That's just great. Okay? So you got unknown. You got Germany. You got Denmark. You got St. Kitts and Nevis. You got New Zealand, Singapore, and Sweden. Fabulous. So all you got these people, now you got all these people just spread out. Just as soon as this happened, 30 plus people said, we out. And look. I didn't even look at the numbers, okay? There's 2 from the unknown, okay? Which I don't know what that is, okay? I know we're in the Lord of the Rings in it, but this is the unknown realm. What is that? But 2 are from unknown, okay? So you got 7 from United Kingdom. You got 6 from the United States, and they can be anywhere. Here's the other thing, too, that we're understanding that some of them are in California and in various states throughout the country, just so you know. So there are a few in Cali. Yeah. So it's not good. Okay, just keeping you guys abreast of what's going on here. So here it is: 7 in the United Kingdom. Okay, tea and crumpets. Okay, you got 6 in the United States. Oh my God! You got the Netherlands. 3. I don't have an accent for that. I'm sorry, but the Netherlands. Okay, you got Canada. 2 of them from there. Maple syrup. You got Switzerland. 2. You got Turkey. 2 from the unknown, like we talked about. 1 from Germany. All of them are 1 from Germany down. Denmark, St. Kitts and Nevis, New Zealand, Singapore, and Sweden. Screwed. Okay, so the WHO, World Health Organization, officials say the risk to the wider public is low because hantavirus usually spreads by the inhalation of contaminated rodent droppings. Okay, isn't easily transmitted between people, but still there are a lot of people that are apparently getting contracting from this right now. Didn't they say this before about the Rona? Didn't they say the same thing about Rona in the very beginning? Pedal 74 said, well, Jesus is coming back. Yeah, it's crazy. This is what I'm thinking, like, what is this from the story of Moses? Are we expecting like measles and mumps and what's next? You know, is it frogs and flies and locusts that consume everything in its path? Right? If we're getting biblical, why not? Where's that? And then, you know, he does his whole Cain thing and then parting the Red Seas and everything, you know, like where's that? Is that what we're about to see? So World Health Organization said, and I could have sworn, wasn't it a thing back in the day? There's nothing to worry about. Meh. You don't have to worry about anything back in the day. Just keep an eye on that Rona. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. And then it spread like freaking wildfire. Did it not? So now you got this. Yeah, it's the Hantapocalypse. Yo! Hell yeah, the Hantapocalypse, potentially. They could quell this very quickly. They could, you know, they can quarantine this and stop this from happening very, very quickly, hopefully. But at the same time, it is going person to person, y'all. So as much as they're like, it's not easily transmitted between people, then why is somebody like a person, Okay. Why isn't there a person, or why is there a person like a flight attendant sick right now? She was on the plane, or we don't know. You know, these flight attendants could be male or female. They were on this plane, on the same plane as that particular person that had the hantavirus was on as well. And it's not like they were sitting there going, "Is that your cup?" and just licking the cup. You know what I mean? It's not like they were giving each other mouth to mouth. It's not like they were in the back, joining the Mile High Club, just getting it on, swapping spit and other liquids. No. This person was helping, doing their job, and they still got sick. So what's up with that, right? What's up with that? I'm sorry. Just saying, there's something in my eye now. So we believe this will be a limited outbreak if the public health measures are implemented and solidarity is shown across all countries. This is what Dr. Mohammed said. He's a WHO's alert and response director, said in a statement. Okay. Oya Scott, well, another lockdown. Glad I found your channel. Well, first off, thank you. I'm hopeful that they're able to stop this before we have to go somewhere even further than a lockdown, because we already have enough problems. Do we not? Oil prices are, gas and oil prices are still they're still skyrocketing, guys. Okay. Nothing's changing when it comes to what's going on economically. So the last thing we need to see is us having to be locked down and not be able to provide for our families and live our lives like we should be. We shouldn't have to go through another lockdown again, guys. That'll be absolutely asinine if it happens. Yeah, I know, Crockett. Yeah, RFK Jr.'s in charge, though. Just saying. We got nothing to worry about. Moving on, the Dutch health minister, he'll just sit there and say, he won't say, "We don't need vaccines." He's just going to be like, "You're just going to have to do some burpees and some pull-ups." That's what he's going to say. That's what he's going to say. And he'll be like, "Eat some Twinkies." That's what he's going to say. Flipping the food pyramid upside down. That's what he did. That's what he did. So I don't know. You realize that he's the same guy he has like blended birds and like killed animals just to see what they look like on the inside. I'm sorry. He's kind of a psych. He's a little bit of he's a special one. Jay McCarthy. Jay McCarthy, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate it. And just like Jay McCarthy, please become a member. Hit that join button down below. Support this channel. We talk about a lot of stuff on this channel. Not only just like the forward, okay? We talk about a lot of things. That's why I try to, cover all things in one big show, right? Because there's so much going on in the world, and it's all going down in a barrel of burning cat piss. So why not get a good seat right next to me with a good pop, with a good freaking bowl of well-buttered popcorn, and let's just watch this dumpster fire go up in flames, in multicolor flames, okay? So hit that join button down below. Support the channel. Hit that like button down below. Okay, can we get it to 1K? That'd be greatly appreciated. And of course, subscribe. All right? So the Dutch Health Ministry said Thursday that a flight attendant on a plane briefly boarded by an infected cruise passenger in South Africa was showing symptoms of hantavirus and would be tested in an isolated ward at a hospital in Amsterdam. Now, let me explain this one last time. This flight attendant was not all up in their face. It's not like this person walked up to them like, "Oh, excuse me, I don't feel well." In their face, in this flight attendant's face. No, that's not what happened. This particular flight attendant was just in the damn plane. Recycled air. You mean to tell me that they are the only person that got sick? That contracted this? God knows how many people are on that mother-loving plane. The whole thing could be at capacity. Now you got all these people sick. He's on there, or this particular person is not feeling very well. They are on this plane. They're like, you know what I mean? Hawking up a lung. Recycled air. Everyone else is breathing in that hantavirus. Okay? It's not great. It's not great, but let's continue on. All right? So again, as much as they're like, it's not that bad. It's not so, they can't contract this. There's no way. No, there is. This woman or this flight attendant, I'm sorry, was just doing their job and they still got sick. Okay? Rebecca just coughed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do you have the Hanta? Okay, everybody spray your phone with that disinfectant real quick. Pull up that bleach real quick. Just douse it real quick. Don't do that. You'll ruin your phone, and I ain't paying you for your ruined phone. So don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. But the cruise passenger, also a Dutch woman, was too ill to fly and was taken off the plane in Johannesburg, where she later died. Yeah. This is like the scene from the movie Outbreak. You know for a fact y'all watched that movie as soon as we heard about the corona situation, right? And I ain't talking about the beer, okay? But we are talking about the beer bug. Remember that? And everybody and their mama was watching. Everybody and their mama watched Outbreak. Everybody and their mama watched Contagion. Remember that one too? Yeah. We all watched that and we're like, oh my God, that could be real life right now. Oh my God. And it kind of was for a little while. Was it not? Was it not? And you know what? This is a random tangent, okay? But I gotta say this. Outbreak, they made that whole situation. The 90s were different, y'all. 90s movies were different. You know what I'm saying? You got Dustin Hoffman doing his Dustin Hoffman thing, you know, trying to figure out how to do everything and figure it all out. You know what I'm saying? I think Rene Russo was in that movie too. You feel me? It was so, and Cuba Gooden. Wasn't Cuba in there too? With his dry ass voice. You know what I'm saying? The 90s were different. They try to keep it positive, you know? With all the heroic music and everything. And then, you know, you watch Contagion, and that was dystopian and dark and scary as F. And all they were trying to do was, in Outbreak, was catch the monkey. Shot the monkey. You know what I mean? Isn't that wild? Yeah, it was a pig virus. No. Not a pig virus. It was a monk. Like in Contagion, what was her? What was her face? Who was it? What's her face? Goop girl. You know, she got a candle smelling like her hoo-ha. What's her name? Gwyneth Paltrow. Okay, she was like in Contagion. Like she shook the hand of some guy that ate something, I don't know, and then she took it back home, and then, you know, got everybody sick, right? That one was dark as hell. But Outbreak, they almost made it like, you know, it was like an action flick, and it's like this, like, very 90s, you know? Like there's a positive energy to it, you know? Whereas Contagion is like, we're all gonna die! And it's a completely different feeling. You gotta watch them again. If you do, watch them now. And you tell me if you see a difference, because I definitely see one. It's bad, but I digress. Sorry, just had to get that off my chest. Thank you so much for sharing that moment with me. Mary, thank you so much. Mary, we ain't doing this again. Keep it where it came from. Well, that's the problem. How are we going to be able to do that, Mary, when everybody got off the damn boat? Everybody's off the boat. So what are we going to do? They're all over the world now. And other places are getting sick. Other people are getting sick. Again, this woman, like I said, this Dutch woman was on the plane. She was too sick to fly, but she was on that plane long enough to get a flight attendant sick. And no, they weren't making out. No, they weren't sharing a meal or sharing a drink. This woman just happens to be in the same vicinity as this sick woman, or this flight attendant is in the same area as this sick woman, and she contracts this. And that anything's possible. Other people could have been sick too. Could have contracted this too on that plane. She was too sick to take off, y'all. Too sick to take off. Okay? She was taken off the plane. So how long was she in that mother-loving plane in the first place? You feel me? There's somebody, and then what? The person sitting next to her was lucky enough not to get sick? You know what I'm saying? Wild. But continuing on, if the woman tests positive, she could be the first known person not on the MV Hondius to become infected in the outbreak. So 3 cruise ship passengers have died in the actual outbreak, and several others are sick. So there are a bunch of people who are sick on the mother-loving ship. Symptoms usually show between 1 to 8 weeks after exposure. So this, you never know. These people who got on the planes or, got on planes after being on that ship may not know anything until they get sick, until they start seeing symptoms later. Some could be asymptomatic, but still could pass the virus on. And some could actually not know anything, be out there shaking hands, kissing babies, doing what they're doing, living life like it's golden, and still get people sick without them even knowing, guys. Yeah, that's up to 2 months, baby. Imagine having to be quarantined for 2 months. I mean, we done it. We did a year. Didn't we do that? Wasn't the lockdown like about a year? We've done it. We've done it before. This is the reason why I found all y'all on some real stuff. Rona was a nightmare, but we all got through it together. Going live and talking about everything that was going on. You see what I'm saying? And then it's going to be a whole thing. Yeah, like the ivermectin and all that stuff. There's going to be plenty of people that are going to be like, use this instead and don't use that and do this. And it's going to, I don't want this again. I don't want to go back to that again. People going viral because they're just being buttholes saying, I'm not wearing a mask. It's my body, my choice. You know what I mean? But they're the same people that will be anti-abortion, which makes no sense. To me, it doesn't. If you're going to sit there and say, my body, my choice, but you're also anti-abortion? Like, what? What? Okay. So again, like I said, going through all that all over again. Sorry, not sorry. We're still in this. Let's continue. We got some things to talk about. We're going to take a look at this press conference, a little bit of this press conference, so we can hear a little bit of what's going on. But Mary, thank you so much for the love. Gene Hackman and his wife say their house was full of rat feces. If that was the case, then that's insane. And if that is the case, that's insane. But thank God it was only a concentrated situation where it was only just them two in that house. But you also got to remember, they're saying that Gene Hackman did not lose his life due to the hantavirus. His wife did. He lost his life due to starvation. And I also think it was his heart gave out because of starvation. You see what I'm saying? Something to think about. Something to think about for sure. But I want to play a little bit of this press conference so we could take a look at this. We're not going to play the whole doggone thing, but I know a lot of us are very curious about what's going on, okay? Real quick.
Respiratory illness on a Dutch flagged cruise ship, the MV Hondius, which had traveled from Argentina to Capo Verde. So far, 8 cases have been reported, including 3 deaths. 5 of the 8 cases have been confirmed as hantavirus, and the other 3 are suspected. Hantaviruses are a group of viruses carried by rodents that can cause severe disease in humans. People are usually infected through contact with infected rodents or their urine, droppings, or saliva. The species of hantavirus involved in this case is the Andes virus, which is found in Latin America and is the only species known to be capable of limited transmission between humans. In previous outbreaks of Andes virus, transmission between people has been associated with close and prolonged contact, particularly among household members, intimate partners, and people providing medical care. That appears to be the case in the current situation. The first case was in a man who developed symptoms on the 6th of April and died on the ship on the 11th of April. No samples were taken, and because his symptoms were similar to those of other respiratory diseases, hantavirus was not suspected. The man's wife went ashore when the ship docked at the island of St. Helena and was also symptomatic. She deteriorated during a flight to Johannesburg on the 25th of April and died the next day. Samples were taken which were tested at South Africa's National Institute of Communicable Diseases and confirmed as hantavirus. The third death was of a woman on the ship who developed symptoms on the 28th of April and died on the 2nd of May. Another man presented to the ship's doctor on the 24th of April, and he was evacuated on the 25th of April from the island of Ascension to South Africa, where he remains in intensive care. Doctors from Cabo Verde boarded the ship to provide care for the 3 other passengers with symptoms. WHO coordinated their evacuation to the Netherlands for treatment. I would like to thank Prime Minister Ulises Correa e Silva of Cabo Verde for his support in facilitating the evacuation of these 3 patients based on our request. 2 are in a stable condition in hospital, and 1 is asymptomatic and is now in Germany. The 8th case was in a man who disembarked in St. Helena. Following advice from the ship's operator, he reported himself with symptoms in Zurich, Switzerland, and was confirmed yesterday to be infected with hantavirus. The Geneva University hospitals then sequenced the virus and confirmed it as Andes. None of the remaining passengers or crew on the ship are currently symptomatic. WHO is aware of reports of other people with symptoms who may have had contact with one of the passengers. In each case, we're in close contact with the relevant authorities. Given the incubation period of the Andes virus, which can be up to 6 weeks, it's possible that more cases may be reported. While this is a serious incident, WHO assesses the public health risk as low. It also shows why the international health regulations exist and how they work. WHO is working with multiple governments and partners on the response under those regulations. Our priorities are to ensure the affected patients receive care, that the remaining passengers on the ship are kept safe and treated with dignity, and to prevent any further spread of the virus. On Monday, I asked Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez of Spain to accept the ship, which he agreed to do. And I thank Prime Minister Sanchez for his generosity, solidarity, and meeting his moral duty. The ship is now sailing for the Canary Islands, and we're confident in the capacity of Spain to manage this risk, and we're supporting them to do so. Once again, we assess the risk to the people of the Canary Islands as low. WHO has provided guidance to the ship's operator on the management of health on board the vessel. All passengers have been asked to stay in their cabins. The cabins are being disinfected, and anyone who shows symptoms will be isolated immediately. A WHO expert boarded the ship in Cabo Verde and has been joined by 2 doctors from the Netherlands and an expert from the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, who will stay on the ship until it reaches the Canary Islands. They're conducting a medical assessment of everyone on board and gathering information to assess their risk of infection. WHO is developing step-by-step operational guidance for the safe and respectful disembarkation and onward travel of passengers and crew when they arrive. WHO has also informed 12 countries whose nationals disembarked in St. Helena.
Hold on real quick. Deshaun just said, nope, I'm not doing it. Not another pandemic. Everyone needs to calm down. Yes, I agree. Or not another plandemic. I'm sorry. Everyone needs to calm down. One thing I will say, though, okay, one thing that I am hopeful for is that we learned our lesson the last time. Like I'm hoping that we learned our lesson and that maybe this time around, if it ever was to get really out of hand, we're able to figure this out very quickly, right? Here's another thing I do want to let you guys know. Trey said, I'm relaxed. That's a bunch of bullshnish, okay? But here's the thing, all right? I think it's like it only gets you only start getting worried when it starts showing up in your neck of the woods. Like if it starts showing up in your state, you know, or in your city, then you're like, oh damn, okay. Here comes the disinfectant. Here comes the Lysol wipes and all that. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. We back at that again. You know what I mean? But here's something I do want to let you guys know. How the first person or the first people that contracted it, how it actually happened is apparently it wasn't mice on the boat. Actually, the people that were on the boat before they got on that actual boat, that couple, they were somewhere else, like doing bird watching or something crazy like that. And somehow they got sick from that. Yeah. Somehow they got sick out there bird watching. Ooh, look at that. It's, you know, ooh, that's a swallow or whatever the hell they're called. Ooh, look at that. It's a cockatoo. You know what I mean? And they were busy looking at things, bird watching, and somehow got sick or contracted it whilst out there bird watching. Yeah, that's a new one for me too. So you can, and you know, those two died. The first people that actually contracted the actual virus passed away. They passed away on the boat. And apparently they were out there looking at birds and they contracted the virus that way. Now, the Andes strain is a strain. It's a specific type of hantavirus. All right. Just so you guys know. That's why they're talking about this Andes virus. It's the Andes strain. You know, like you realize that the Rona has multitudes of different types of Rona. There's multitude of different types of Rona out there. And yes, that basically means it's a mutated version of that actual virus. And we also have definite mutations of the Rona as well, just to make that very, very clear. So the Andes virus, or the Andes strain, is within the wheelhouse and within the family of the hantavirus, just so you guys know. This one can be, that's why it's going from person to person. It's going human to human because of the strain that this couple contracted and brought onto this mother-loving ship. Okay? So, yeah, great. Wonderful. Let me skip ahead a little bit. Let's hear what this lady got to say here. All right.
Thank you. So I believe the second question was related to a potential suspect case. So as the DG said in his remarks, we're getting reports of suspect cases or potential suspect cases. These are alerts, as we call them. Some of them have had reported links to the ship or passengers on the ship. All of those will be followed up with the relevant authorities in each country. The countries themselves, whether it's through the ministries or through the agencies in the countries, are actually assessing each person case by case, looking at what type of exposure did they have, are they developing any symptoms, if anyone is developing symptoms, to be isolated immediately, testing to take place, and providing the appropriate support. This is actually how the case in Switzerland was identified. Following the notification from the ship's operators, which we're very grateful for, this individual presented to healthcare, wasn't feeling well, was immediately isolated, was tested. This is actually public health actions and in the works. And I did just want to add on the global solidarity side of things, you know, in all of the efforts that we're doing right now, including the ship sailing to the Canary Islands and to support the Spanish authorities, we've pulled together all of the global experts related to hantaviruses, in particular the Andes virus, and that global solidarity also falls into place on the technical side of things as well, coming in together saying, what do we know, what have we learned from past outbreaks, what's going on in the current situation, and essentially how can we help. And that type of technical solidarity is really helpful. Some of the diagnostic kits and the reagents that we are sending are also going to Spain, so that will support in some of the further investigations that need to take place. So overall, we're very grateful for all of those who've come together from the technical side as well to support this event.
Thank you very much. And the next question goes to Nina Larson from AFP. Nina, please go ahead.
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
All well.
Great. So I was going to ask if you, would you consider this outbreak to be an epidemic? And also, what would you say about people wearing masks? Should people be wearing masks? Is it considered to be airborne? And also, how long should contacts remain in isolation to avoid further spread? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina. And we go back to Dr. Van Kerkhoff.
Yes, so thanks, Nina. So what we have is, you know, obviously the situation that's happening on the ship itself and the follow-up of the contacts of the passengers who disembarked in St. Helena. So far, as you've heard, we have 8 cases so far, 5 of whom have been confirmed, 3 who have sadly died. We have no further symptomatic patients who are on board, or passengers or crew on board, I should say, which is a good sign. But of course, there is a long incubation period of the Andes virus. We know on board they have taken some precautions to try to minimize the risk. What they have advised on board is disinfection of the rooms. They have confined people to their cabins and providing food and water. And they have asked, as a precautionary measure for anyone leaving their room, to wear a medical mask. We certainly advise people who are caring.
Here we go again on our own. Yep, here we go. Here we go. Now, here's the thing. I am hopeful that this may be nothing, that this is just a small little outbreak and it just gets handled, and you know what I'm saying? But now they're sitting here saying masks. Now, they're not sitting here saying that the world has to do masks, but at the same time, oh, man. It's like a sequel that we did not want to see. You know what I mean? Lockdown part 2, you know? Mickey Mouse with a vengeance. You know, like we don't need that. You know, we really don't. We don't need that. But let's continue.
For those who are suspected of this Andes virus or hantaviruses to wear a higher level of personal protective equipment. That guidance has been given to the people on board, but also there are the 2 patients that are in hospital in the Netherlands, and there's a patient in ICU in South Africa. And I am very happy to say the patient in South Africa is doing better, and the 2 patients in the Netherlands we hear are stable. So that is actually very good news. So we have a situation that we are monitoring very, very carefully. These numbers may change. As we're doing follow-up, we may see some additional cases be reported, and that shows that the active follow-up is happening and that the testing is being done. What we know about transmission, and there's been a lot of questions posed to us about, what is actually happening. What we do know is that the Andes virus, in previous outbreaks, there has been instances of human-to-human transmission, mainly among close contacts, either providing clinical care or people who have had close physical contact. And we believe that's happening and has happened in the case here on the ship as well, between the couple, the first and second cases, and also a medical doctor providing care. As you probably know, those who develop symptoms, those who go on to develop disease, sometimes develop very severe disease, which includes severe respiratory disease. So there may be some coughing, there may be some aerosolizing procedures that may be done. And of course, that's where we would require higher level care. So this is not COVID, this is not influenza. It spreads very, very differently. So there are different precautions that people are taking. So we are supporting the ship's operators in the mitigation measures that they are putting on board. And as we've said, we are working to have a proper and full disembarkment procedure step by step to support authorities in the Canary Islands for the next stage of the people who are on board.
Yikes. Okay, so remember, incubation period is still kind of up in the air, right? You could see symptoms within a week. You could see symptoms within a week to 8 weeks. So you could literally be walking around. Like, that's what's so scary about this. There are people that were on that boat. There are people that went on planes. And there's multitude of planes. You got to remember, there's multitude of people that left to different areas, got on planes and flew to their respective countries and their states or whatever, their cities and whatnot, that they flew on planes. Some of them had connecting flights. Some of them didn't have just one direct flight. You got to remember, you got those people who are also flying, like, if they're flying back to, say, middle America, okay, back into the Midwest, they're taking a connecting flight from there to Miami, then Miami to, whatever city that they're living in. You see what I'm saying? So this is could be a scary situation, right? This could potentially be an absolute cluster F if they're not able to get this whole thing figured out very, very quickly and are able to do the reverse math and reach out and get in contact with every single person. But let's be real. We just saw the list of people and what countries that they were, coming in from, or that they left to go to, or where they're from, right? There were 2 that were called unknown. They don't even know where those people went or from whence they came from. So that's a problem. Now, this could be a very small outbreak and it could be no big deal, or it could be an absolute conundrum. But it's also how we handle this situation, right? It's also how we handle this situation moving forward, right?
They're citing increases in cases and, in some countries, lethality in South America. If you could draw on those as well, please.
Great, Jim. Thanks. And we go to Anaïs Legon, next to me, technical lead on viral hemorrhagic fevers.
Thanks a lot for the question. What is most unusual, obviously, is that we have a transmission in a boat, which I think that's the first documented to date with this particular virus. As mentioned by my colleagues before, a boat makes it a very specific environment for which we we want to make sure that we have a good understanding on how the transmission has happened, and most importantly, to strengthen all the measures that my colleagues developed previously. There is no indication to date that there is something further unusual, but obviously the fact that it happened in a cruise ship with people from different nationalities and is something that we haven't seen before. Regarding your comment on the PAO report, the epidemiological situation related to hantaviruses in the Americas, you are right, a slight increase has been noted in few countries. Just to recall that this update covers all hantaviruses that are documented in the Americas, where most countries at risk have good surveillance system. And the increase can be related to several factors that needs to be determined, what countries are working on, probably linked to incidents on rodent population and different ecological and behavioral factors. This doesn't specifically relate to this virus we are talking about. And I want to recall that most antivirus cannot.
Hold on, let me pause that really quick. Hold on. Yeah, history is repeating itself all over again, Google. Real talk. Jay, thank you so much. Pascal, we were just notified by HHS that 2 Texas residents were on board the ship, reported by WFAA News just now. I'm going to take a look at that. But see what I'm saying? So you got people that are in California. Allegedly, you got people that went back to California. Now you're hearing, from possibly WFAA that people went back home to Texas, right? And they're all potentially have contracted that actual virus. And so they're potentially carrying it with them on these planes back into their towns, and they're, doing whatever they're doing, going to the local gym, going to the local bar, going to the local mall, except people don't really shop at malls anymore. But you get what I'm saying, right? This is bad. Yeah, if let's be real, PJ, if it gets bad, then yes, we're going to be looking at home gyms all over again, and everyone going to be cooking at home. And what's also insane is that we're going to be back at people. Remember when we were disinfecting our food before we brought it inside the house? Man, I know people that were actually disrobing before they actually walked in the house, take a shower to try to clean themselves, rid themselves of the coronavirus before they actually walked in to their home. I'm not kidding. Arizona as well? Ang? Come on, Mang. Really? Arizona? Oh, damn it. But remember that in the very beginning? Then everyone got kind of lazy later on. They're like, F it. If I get it, I get it. I don't care anymore, right? But remember in the very beginning, people were sanitizing, washing their hands over and over and over again, disinfecting the packages and the food. I'm not kidding. They're spraying this stuff and wiping down toaster strudel boxes. I'm not kidding. That was a real thing. People were really scared of this virus being on the boxes and the packages and the bags that contain their food. Real talk. Oh, I don't want to have that happen again. You realize how insane that was, right? Literally, every time somebody came home, this is the stories I heard. Every time they went out to go, it's like they had to, get all suited up to go to the supermarket to get food. And then when they get back, they had to strip everything down, like right outside, in like the mud room or whatever. Beeline straight to the shower, scrub themselves stupid, just so they can come back out and then disinfect all of the packages from the store. It was nuts. Lysol sprays, toilet paper, paper towels, all those things were running. We were running out of, everything was just going out of style. Yeah. Crazy. Allie, I don't know yet. I'm going to look that up here in just a minute. But, this is what happened last time. if this becomes that bad, we're going to be back at this again all over again. I ain't got time for it, man. Over rodent droppings, y'all. Like, for real. I ain't got time for it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we finally all starting to get somewhat comfortable getting outside. Do you understand how hard it was for a lot of people to get outside? And people are finally just coming out? Finally? We ain't got time for this, man. We ain't got time for it. So I hope that this is just a small little, like, you know, like that a year in review 2026. Remember, you know what I mean? It'd be like, remember when Mickey Mouse almost took out the entire planet? That was crazy. We are all scared, mad as hell at Ratatouille. I'm hoping that we just have that we don't have to resort back to being locked up in our homes because somebody inhaled Ratatouille's poo. I just let's continue.
Transmit human to human, only the Andes one, so it's really linked to the rodent population. Over.
Thank you very much, Anaïs. Next question. No, before I come to the next question, we have a long list of questions still.
Of course you do.
And we want to really get to everybody. So please try to limit your questions to one. I'm pretty sure many people want to ask the same questions anyway. So next question goes to Laurent Sierra from Swiss News. Now we come to Switzerland. Laurent, please go ahead.
You realize that these are people asking questions from all over the freaking globe, y'all. You see what I'm saying? You got people from Switzerland, which, by the way, person who contracted this stuff went to Switzerland. There were people. So again, of course, they're going, wait a second. We had somebody who was sick, who was, infected, came here. This is a worldwide problem. Worldwide.
Yeah, thank you for the briefing. A question on contact tracing and the extent of what has already been done, because it seems that the guy, the person who is in Zurich right now, was in a flight where the contact tracing was not started right away. And so there is the threat that some people might not have been traced in the first days after they contact with that person. So do you know whether most countries affected have started but also probably ended the contact tracing process? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laurent. This goes to Dr. Mahmoud.
Thanks. In terms of contact tracing and the policy for that, each country has slightly different. What we recommend from WHO is extensive investigation and information sharing. So this contact passenger was informed on two channels, one from the company informing the patient, and the second from the IHR South Africa sharing that information with Switzerland. So from the national level to the canton level, at least we will see how that information passes, because most of the information are shared at the capital level and then it goes to canton. What was done here, and that we really need to appreciate the responsibility and the proactiveness of all the passengers contacted. They followed the public health message and taken the necessary action. Now the canton and the authorities are doing the investigation, and it takes a lot of time identifying all the contacts where he went, and these are retrospective, what we call retrospective contact tracing, that meaning going backwards the day he arrived and all the way until the onset. So that data is being collected and analyzed. And then what we are encouraging now that we have a confined environment and hopefully we'll have a date of departure, prepare all the countries now. There's a lot of lessons we learned from all the countries shared from South Africa. The level of preparedness may have been slightly different. Now we're all prepared. And we'll have passengers and crews coming up. We are encouraging and we'll be sharing the investigation and the contact tracing format and be proactive and the necessary recommendation. Each state and sovereign state will have a different application from our recommendation, but we firmly believe that safe, informed contact tracing and monitoring will reduce the further spread. So we are finalizing that in consultation with global experts from our European CDC, from US CDC, from UK, Netherlands, on all that, and we will issue that guidance in the coming tomorrow, hopefully. But we believe that the retrospective contact tracing is going on and action is being taken here in Switzerland.
Okay, so again, yes, guys, this is passing from person to person, which would basically mean, yes, this is airborne. Is it that intense? I don't know yet. But one thing is for sure, there are a lot of people that are worried about this, and I think that we all have a good reason. We all have great reason to be concerned about what's going on here. If it's not one thing, it's something else. So I'm hoping that this is not a situation where we're all worried about this while something else is going on. You see what I'm saying? While something else is going on. We've got plenty of other things that are going on all at the same damn time. One thing is for sure. This is no laughing matter. This is some really, really scary stuff. And we need to keep an eye on this big time. Let's take a look at this.
Okay, we are all over this story for you. Breaking this morning, Dutch authorities say a flight attendant who was in touch with a woman who died from hantavirus in South Africa has been admitted to a hospital after showing symptoms. There are also new reports that some of the Americans who were on board that ship plagued by an outbreak for days have returned back home. Well, now there's growing worry that they may have brought the rare and deadly virus back with them.
Let me just say this really quick. You got the flight attendant that is now potentially is now sick with the virus. She probably went back home without even knowing what was going on. You understand? She went back home, and what's crazy is the woman that passed out in the plane, she got on the plane, and she was so sick that she passed out. It's like a scene from a movie. It sounds wild, but it's true. It's like a damn scene from a movie. She was so jacked up from this virus, she passes out. And this flight attendant maybe was trying to help her. Maybe went up to her, was like, "Are you okay?" You never know. Maybe used CPR, maybe mouth to mouth. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But nonetheless, you can now have this flight attendant that most likely continue flying. Continue going on other planes. Remember, flight attendants, they don't have their shift is over whenever their shift is over, but they're flying to many different places. So if she got contracted it, she could have still been serving people drinks, still giving people pillows, still doing all this stuff on planes, still hopping around doing that on planes, guys. And what's crazy is that they say the incubation period is from, now I stand corrected because yesterday I thought it was 6 to 8 weeks. Now it's 1 to 8 weeks. So we don't even know. It's roulette. We don't even know when any of these other people that were in contact with this particular flight attendant are ever going to see any symptoms. They may not even have it until 2 months or not at all, but still keep on passing it on to other people. Do you see how insane that is? So again, that flight attendant, unbeknownst to her, could have literally passed that bad boy around because she was on that plane. And I'm sure after that woman passed out and was taken to the hospital, that plane they didn't deplane. They probably took off after that. And then took her, you know what I mean? And then she probably stayed on that plane, or she went to another plane and flew out to another destination, and then flew to another destination. However long her shift is going to be, she was still doing her shift. So this is what I mean by this could be very, very, this could be a disaster, y'all. An absolute freaking disaster. But let's continue.
Nick's here with the latest on this story. Nick, officials in several states are now monitoring this entire situation.
Absolutely, Mark. They're doing what they call contact tracing. They want to make sure that anyone who is on this ship is not taking that virus anywhere with them without being traced.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt this man, this reporter, but let me just say this really quick. Contact tracing, you got a lot of contact tracing to do then. Because that woman, that flight attendant, got in contact with that woman who literally basically died after she passed away, or after she passed out on the plane. She died. Okay, so she has now, this flight attendant now has the virus, but she got on planes. She still was talking to other people. She was still in this freaking flying petri dish in the air, serving people and doing her job. And then, you know, it sounds like days later or something of that sort, she started seeing symptoms. But other than that, she still was on those planes, allegedly. All right. So again, this contact tracing is a lot bigger now. It's a lot bigger now. Okay. A lot bigger. You want to know something even more crazy? Is that I hate to keep on saying, referencing this movie, but Outbreak. The monkey in Outbreak, right? The dude, there was a guy that was like rapping with like the monkey. Remember, he got scratched or something crazy like that. I forgot how the guy received the virus. But remember, he got on a mother-loving plane too. And he was absolutely jacked all the way up on that plane. Literally, he was on like his last leg before he passed away, right? He was on that plane too. He was on a plane. He was giving that virus to everybody on the mother-loving plane. I know it's a movie, but damn. Yeah, the movie with Dustin Hoffman, like I said before. Okay? That's absolutely insane. You want to know what's even more insane? Is that the scene where he finally lands and he gets to see his boo thing, and then his boo thing like just jumps up on him and just sticks her tongue in his mouth and just totally makes out with him. And it's like, you don't see that this man is sweating profusely and looking sick as hell? Wouldn't you be like, hey, baby, hi. No, we don't have to hug. What's wrong? What happened there? But no, she jumped up on him and was like, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So she was gone. She was a goner after that because she contracted the virus without a doubt. But you remember that? Ain't that crazy? So excited she didn't realize that man was dying. All because of that mother-loving monkey in Outbreak. Okay? Just remember that. Let's continue. Contact tracing. They're going to need a lot of contact tracing to catch everybody.
While the CDC tries to tamp down public fears, at least 3 state health departments are keeping tabs on people who were just on board the MV Honduras. The New York Times reports that California, Georgia, and Arizona state health departments are each monitoring residents who were on that beleaguered ship. Right now, however, the 2 people in Georgia are not showing any symptoms. Those reports come after 3 people were evacuated off the ship on Wednesday, including the ship's doctor. There have been 3 confirmed hantavirus cases on board, with 5 more suspected. 3 passengers have died. The ship, with nearly 150 people still on board, is expected to dock in Spain's Canary Islands in a few days, where the remaining passengers and crew will be evaluated. In the meantime, Marky, those still on board are being asked to social distance, sanitize their hands, and isolate in their rooms as much as possible.
I still can't imagine being on board the ship for any of this. So, Nick, what's all being done to ensure the virus doesn't spread off that ship to land into other communities now?
Marky, they want to tamp down public fears, right? As we mentioned, several state health agencies are monitoring the situation here at home, but doctors say, for the most part, people really don't have anything to worry about.
The only documented cases where it looked like there might be human-to-human spread were very close contacts, husband and wife, parent and child, people who lived in very close proximity to one another.
And on Tuesday,
flight attendants on a plane. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, sure, she's not like all up on the person that was on that plane. But at the same time, she was in close proximity with her too. So was everybody else that was on that plane too. Let's not forget that.
That sentiment was echoed in a statement by the CDC's acting director, who said, quote, the risk to the American public is very low, adding that the virus is only spread by close contact with symptomatic carriers. Meanwhile, the ship's crew and passengers will be examined in Spain before being sent to their home countries. The 14 Spanish passengers on board will then quarantine in a military hospital in Madrid before being allowed to return to their communities. Other countries have said they will isolate or monitor passengers when they return home. The World Health Organization is set to give an update around 9 a.m. Eastern this morning. And of course, Marky, we will follow that and bring you the latest.
Yeah.
Hold on. See, something about this makes me, this burns my cookies. So you got something where it's a very deadly virus. And instead of them actually saying, no, like we're going to put them in a space and we're going to monitor them in a space, you're going to actually let these people go off and live their life? That's kind of how I broke it down. Hold on. I'm going back to that because that didn't make any earthly sense. What?
Crew and passengers will be examined in Spain before being sent to their home countries.
Okay, so 14 of those people are going to be examined, but there's more here.
14 Spanish passengers on board will then quarantine in a military hospital in Madrid before being allowed to return to their communities.
Okay, I got a little worried there. I was like, wait, did I mishear? I misheard.
Other countries have said they will...
The other countries, this is what I'm talking about. Hold on.
Before being allowed to return to their communities. Other countries have said they will isolate or monitor passengers when they return home. The World Health Organization...
See, that makes me concerned. Some will isolate those people, and some will just monitor them. You realize that's how dangerous that could be, right? And again, so they're just going to be able to go and live their life, go back home, and possibly spread this to other people. Okay, all right then. But that shouldn't concern you. That concerns the hell out of me. But okay. These other countries, they just be other countries. You feel me?
And is set to give an update around 9 a.m. Eastern this morning. And of course, Marky, we will follow that and bring you the latest.
Yeah.
Nah. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no. Okay.
So as much as they can.
Hold on.
Okay, we are all over this story for you. Breaking
This morning, health officials are tracing the contacts of passengers who were on a cruise ship with a deadly virus. Officials in Georgia say they are monitoring 2 American passengers who recently came home, and another is being watched in Arizona. So the ship is now heading toward the Canary Islands in the Atlantic, but it may not be allowed to dock. Tom Hansen is here with the latest. Tom,
Hold on. This was when? This was 5 hours ago, just so y'all know. Interesting.
The saga is a nightmare, ongoing nightmare for these poor people. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Gail. So many developments here. More than 24 passengers who were on the infected ship disembarked nearly 2 weeks after the first passenger died of the deadly virus, according to the ship's operator. Now, meanwhile, health officials in Arizona and Georgia say none of their residents who were on the ship are showing signs of infection. U.S. health officials are monitoring Americans who were aboard the MV Hondius but departed before the ship went into quarantine. The MV Hondius is less than 1 day into a 3 to 4 day journey from Cape Verde to the Canary Islands, and already the plan to get the nearly 150 passengers off the boat is facing pushback. The Tenerife mayor says his island is ill-equipped to handle the aid needed to be administered to the passengers, and warns that allowing the ship to dock could pose a greater health risk for the local population. So far, at least 8 people on board are believed to have been infected with the hantavirus. 3 of those cases have been confirmed, 3 passengers have died, and 1 is in critical condition. And now the Dutch Health Ministry is reporting a stewardess is in the hospital after showing possible symptoms of hantavirus. She was not on the cruise, but had reportedly been in contact with a woman who died from the virus.
Yep, and we already know about that, but hold on. Mary, thank you so much for the love. They done lost their knuckin' mind. Yeah, WTF indeed. Yeah, I don't know. It's you know that there should be, I feel like when it's something like this and you don't want another lockdown to happen, if you get what I'm saying, you should be doing everything you can within your power as your country or whatever it is to make sure it doesn't happen again. And in this situation, the people that are in, even in America, the ones that are in Cali, the ones that are potentially in Texas and Arizona, any of these other spots that they may be at, they should be locked down. If they just found out just now, they need to be locked down immediately, without question, right? Yes, guys, please hit that like button down below. Can we get it to 1K? That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, can we get it to 1K before the end of the show? There's a lot of y'all watching the show right now. I appreciate every single last one of y'all for being here. Show some good energy, show some positivity, okay, by hitting that like button down below. Let's get it to 1K. Again, subscribe. Don't forget to do that, all right? And hit that notification bell so you know whenever we go live, whenever we upload, okay? Because it is random and there's a lot of breaking news going on, okay? Let me just finish this off because we got to get to another story here real quick.
Ruhi Jeanette was a passenger on the cruise. He recorded this video of the captain announcing the first death days later.
One of our passengers sadly passed away last night. Tragic as it is, it was due to natural causes, we believe.
Following the...
They didn't know. They had no idea, right? They didn't even know, right? We're looking at it right now. Rosa, can't put that up. Why? Because it's being a pain. Yes, there we go. Rosa, thank you so much. Yeah, have we seen the vids from inside the ship? I showed some in the past. Somebody did a whole tour of the ship and everything, and now we're looking at a video right now of the captain of the ship breaking the bad news about the first death on the boat.
Captain's announcement. Jeanette said the passengers on board continued with social activities.
He said it was due to natural causes and we are not infectious. This was relaxing at the time, but it was also misguiding us because...
Clearly so many questions here. Now, Ocean-Wide Expedition, which operates the cruise ship, issued a statement saying in part, at the time of the announcement, no evidence of a virus or contagion was present on the vessel. Now, the State Department told CBS News it is monitoring the situation and is in close contact with the cruise ship and health authorities regarding the status of the American passengers.
Okay. Yes. Here's the other thing, too. How would they know? Like, with all due respect, how would they know if the person passed away and they were sick and they passed away? How would they instantly know? Oh, that's the hantavirus. How would they know? Like I said, with all due respect, I don't think the captain, and again, I don't know. I would assume that the captain was basically saying, due to what we saw and what the doctor on board saw, this was natural causes. This was not, passing away from some deadly virus. You see what I'm saying? So again, I got questions too, but at the same time, I would instantly go, okay, how would they know? And yeah, Rachel, now the doctor or Beth, okay, now the actual doctor is sick as well. He's on the boat sick right now too, probably because he's in close proximity with all these particular passengers, and he's checking on all of them, and so he's getting sick. You see what I'm saying? It's only inevitable, unless he's walking around in a hazmat suit, which I highly doubt. So again, pretty scary stuff, guys. Okay, let's hear this last bit,
guys.
Oh boy, Tom, thank you so much. Medical correspondent Dr. Celine Gounder is here. She's also editor-at-large for public health at KFF Health News. Celine, good to have you here because this is very frightening for many people who are listening to this. So we just heard about the Dutch stewardess who's hospitalized. What are they doing now to trace contacts from her and other people?
Yeah, so the Department of State from the U.S. perspective is leading our response. As we have heard, about 7 Americans who are on the ship are back in states including 2 in Georgia, 1 in Arizona. The CDC has activated their Emergency Operations Center, which shows that they're taking this seriously, and is sending passenger lists to state and local health departments to track those people down and follow up. If they are quarantining the passengers as they did for us for Ebola, so I was an aid worker in West Africa at the time. I had to quarantine for 3 weeks at home. When I returned, they gave us thermometers, they gave us symptom diaries. We had to call in every day to check in about our symptoms and temperatures. There was no enforcement of the quarantine. It was just honor code, but I did stay at home. And the quarantine in this case would be longer than 3 weeks than for Ebola because the incubation period for hantavirus is longer. Big picture, if anybody was exposed, they would want to stay, rationally speaking, near a hospital because if you do start to get worse and develop severe hantavirus disease, you may need ECMO, which is the heart-lung bypass machine, and not every hospital even has that. So you would want to be near that kind of hospital.
When I think about rodents and viruses, my mind goes to the movie Outbreak, which scared the daylights out of me.
There we go.
How worried should we be?
There we go.
I think big picture, people should understand this is not COVID. I think we all have PTSD from COVID, including a cruise ship with an outbreak. This is not COVID. The mechanism of transmission is different.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll believe it when we see it, though. We'll believe it when we
hantavirus
see it.
and the cruise outbreak developing tonight.
We'll believe it when we see it. Okay, but this ship is heading to Spain. Just so you guys know. And yeah, I mean, I feel like we have every right to be absolutely concerned about the turnout here, right? We all have a reason to be scared, a reason to sit there and go, hey, we've already been here before. Like, we don't really need to go through this crap all over again. We really don't. And I have no desire to see us get locked down or see us get in trouble all over again, right? Yes, PTSD all freaking day, Melody. Again, let's see what happens. We'll see if there's more updates or more upticks in, people getting sick. Again, they say there's nothing to worry about. I just hope that they're right. I really, really do hope that they're right. Now, here's the thing, really quick, two different things I want to talk to you guys about. One doesn't have a video on it at all, or a video or an article, but I do want to share this with you guys. And it's just a little like pop culture, some to kill the paranoid vibes, right? And I understand a lot of us are very concerned about what's going on. Absolutely. All right. Let's find out what's going on, right? Let's see what happens. This may be a small little outbreak, or it could be something big. We'll see what happens, right? But it's good to keep our eyes on this, right? Now, I just wanted to say this. This is another thing that I think is just pretty cool, okay? I thought it was very cool. I don't know if you guys know about streamer iShowSpeed. If you don't know about iShowSpeed, he's one of the biggest streamers out there, okay? He does a lot of IRL, in real life type stuff where he's, going all over the place, going to different countries, so on and so forth, checking things out, and just a camera's on him at all times. But anyway, what's really cool, all right, is that he just basically broke the record for the most people watching his stream. He had 1.8 million people watching his stream. Now, if I'm correct, I think that's the most a streamer has ever had, which I think is really, really dope. Yeah. And I know some people don't know who he is. iShowSpeed is literally his YouTube channel. And he's just a wild kid. Like, he just does a lot of wild stuff. He's very positive, very good kid. From the stuff that I've seen of him do, he's like 19 years old. He's a young kid. He's got confidence. He's got a lot of confidence, but he is really, really popular. And, kind of like Clavicular, but way more popular than Clavicular. Clavicular is just one dark ball of energy. I'm sorry. He's just very dark. Okay. Yes, he's a lot like Kai Cenat, if you know anything about Kai Cenat. When he was doing it, because Kai Cenat doesn't do this stuff anymore, but he was doing a lot of stuff like that, okay? Or he does a lot of stuff where he goes around the country. He does different, stunts, and he'll race people because he's really, really fast, hence the reason why he calls himself iShowSpeed. Anyway, he just broke a record. yesterday, which is really dope. I just thought it was really cool. All right. And he's one of the biggest streamers in the world right now. And I thought that was just very, very cool. So just something to talk to you guys about really, really quick, because he went to the Dominican Republic and over 1.8 million people were watching him at one time, which is crazy. Now, we've seen other people like the likes of like Candace Owens get like 1 million viewers and stuff like that. We've seen 1 million. People have not seen that level, unless it's like, a live stream of a fighting boxing event or something of that sort. You know what I mean? So, I'm a proud Trini and felt proud he visited us first. That's what's up. Yeah, I mean, he did hop around. He's been hopping around, flying all over the world. But that's what's so dope about his line of work. He can kind of, I'm in the Dominican, or I'm in Tokyo, or I'm in, some, African village. You know what I mean? It is pretty amazing what he's able to do. And he does that. But what's also crazy is the amount of people that follow him. Like, he'll go live in the Dominican and he'll have like thousands of people behind him riding bicycles and motorcycles and stuff. It's crazy. Like, let me just say this. Thank you, Creep. But I couldn't do it at the level of him. He goes someplace and then it's like the turnout is insane, right? It's electric. I don't know, I don't know if I could do that so much, but it is, I'm doing a little IRL here and there. You see what I'm saying? I'm doing a little IRL here and there, but you know what I mean? People don't tune in just because I'm in Chicago. If I say, DeForvida, has a evil twin brother, then everybody tunes in. You see what I'm saying? So it is what it is, right? It just is what it is. But what he's done is amazing. And it's crazy. 1.8 million people watching his stuff at one time. That is so dope. Okay. So we've got to get into this conversation. We got to get into DeForvida. Like I said, I was going to talk to you guys about DeForvida. And this is something I found very interesting. A lot of people have been feeling some type of way about DeForvida's brother, Caleb, or Kevlib. Okay. He also goes by Kova. Now, we talked about this yesterday, and I felt some type of way about this situation as well. Because I'm like, hey, this is all about timing. If you ask me, all of this has to do with timing. And so suddenly he came out with a statement. He spoke out. And we got to look at his statement because honestly, I think we need to hear it. I think we need to hear his statement. Because here's the thing. Let me just be real. Caleb was coming out with his music, but this all happened around this same time. I don't know. For me, I'm like, it's timing. It's timing. It's timing. It's timing. It's timing. It's timing. Here's the other thing too. And I get it. Some people are going to be like, leave him alone. He's a young man. Leave him alone. And I get that piece too. He's a young kid. He's just trying to make his way. He wants to make music. And around this same time, this is going on as well, which is kind of crazy. And it could really be just a matter of a coincidence of timing. But for me, I'm still thinking, timing, Timing. So let's take a look at this, okay? Let's take a look at this right quick, because I know we all have something to say about this. We all have an opinion about this, but let's see if he sways any of y'all in this statement. So he says, I've been wanting to say something for a while, but I have to be careful about what I say as this is an ongoing legal matter. I don't want to make this horrible situation about me. I want justice for Celeste and her family. That's very interesting, right? Because remember, he also is the same guy who posted on his social media basically saying any P word or R word deserves to lose their life, period. Of course, I'm using code words, but you get what I'm saying. He came out and he was like, clearly he's not on the side of his brother, DeForvida, just so you know, all right? I've seen people say that I knew what was going on and I was protecting my brother. This is not true at all. I have not lived with my brother for years and was not very close with him. Okay, some people would argue that, basically saying, well, were always performing with him. You were maybe his opener and all that. So you guys were close enough for him to ask for you to come and perform with him, right? But moving on, we didn't speak often. Okay, we didn't speak often other than when our family was brought on tour or he was visiting home. I was around Celeste a few times when I was 15. A few times with Celeste when he was 15. I did not know her well, and I did not know her age. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. People have been posting the video of me backstage with her at one of DeForvida's concerts when I was 15. And I've been wanting to address this for a while. So, okay, let's continue. People have even gone as far as to say that I was sneaking her backstage, which is not true. She was already at the show, and the video takes place after the show had already ended. In the video, we were sent to grab something from a fan that was in front of the stage, and we were walking back. Okay. And we all know that infamous video right here, right? Where everyone's like, there she is, right? This is when he was 15 at that time. Just remember, 15 years old at that time. So we get the math in our head really quick. Okay, moving on. News companies such as TMZ, Daily Mail, and others have started saying that I am taking advantage of the whole situation to promote my music and that I am just, quote unquote, just now launching my music career. This is not true at all. I have been releasing and posting music over the last 3 to 4 years and took over a half-year hiatus, due to what happened. So you took a half-year, 6-month hiatus. He took 6 months off due to what was going on with DeForvida. Mind you, this whole case has been going on for seven months. You know that, right? 7 months. He says he took over a half-a-year hiatus due to what happened. So he took over 7 months at least to not do anything. He just went radio silent. Okay. I changed my name online from Caleb to Kova, as I did not want to associate myself with any of this. We're going to come back to that in a second. I have not once mentioned this situation or my identity on the new accounts. Okay. TMZ reported my age incorrectly, saying that I was 20 when I just turned 18 in November. So when he met Celeste and he was in that video, he was 15 years old at that time. Just so you know, that he was 15. Do you know how old she was at that time? Because that was 3 years ago. So because he was 15 when he met her, and in that video he was 15, so that was 3 years. So in other words, she was 11. 12 or 11. Not saying that he's full of it. I'm just saying. Interesting that he knew her back then. And I know that I get it. You're not going up to somebody who looks young and go, how old you is? Like, you're not doing that. You know, you're just hanging out. You're doing your thing. Oh, this is a friend of David's. No big deal. Blah, blah, blah. You're not instantly saying like, ooh, let me see your ID because it seems like you're a little too young. You know what I mean? So I get that piece. I get that piece to a certain extent. But at the same time, she was 12, though. She was 12. Insane. Okay, so he's known her for a little bit. Okay, but anyway, here's the other part too that's kind of driving me nuts. I changed my name online from Kevleb to Kova as I did not want to associate myself with any of this. I have not once mentioned this situation or my identity on the new accounts, but he went to one of his accounts and he did say all P words and R words should lose their lives, period. They should all be unalived, period. He did that. We talked about that. That's one thing. Here's the other thing too. People are assuming that that's him talking about his own brother, Why would you put something up like that online on social media about P words and R worders saying that they should all perish, they should all cease to exist? You get what I'm saying? Make it make sense. Okay? So again, he puts that up on his social media and he's like, no, I'm not, I wasn't saying anything. I don't want to associate myself to the whole situation, but you did. With all due respect, you did. And everybody and their mama reacted to that because we all knew who you were talking about. And I get it. You have every right to say whatever the hell you want on whatever platform you're on. But at the same damn time, you did make a statement. And it is quite a statement to put out, especially right after your brother has been brought into justice and went in for his first appearance in court. I'm just saying, timing. Okay. Moving on. So he just turned 18 in November. Okay. I scheduled my first release, under the new name before any of this became a headline again. The actual song that he had came out 2 days before his arrest. Okay. This project, music, videos, and songs was already in motion long before any news coverage around my brother resurfaced. Okay, fine. Timing is really crappy on his part, and it did not work out for him timing-wise, but at the same time, timing. Because you could also say, I get it. You shot the music videos. You already made the songs. You already did the promo shoots and everything. You could put it on hold for a second. You could. Your brother just got arrested, and it might be a bad look. You know what I mean? Yeah, canceling somebody allegedly doesn't exist anymore, but this could really put you in a bad light. Now, I also hear that, there's no such thing as bad publicity, but at the same time, I beg to differ. This is pretty bad. Especially when your brother is an alleged monster and did some terrible things, and then you're doing songs called SEX just saying. But moving on. My intent has never been to use this to bring attention to myself or my music. Some people would sit there and say, I beg to differ on that too. But okay, this is the whole reason why I started over from scratch. My decision, he continues, my decision to continue releasing music is not about using any of this for attention. Music is my life. And after stepping away for months because of everything that's happened, I want to build my own path. Okay, I get it. And sure, you got money behind these projects. Multiple thousands, if not millions of dollars behind those projects that you're trying to get ready to release. And you want to see that return on investment, especially the people that are investing in you and all that as well. But at the same time, given how sensitive and how heavy this particular situation is, you'd think that his team would be like, yo, let's just pause on this for a second. Let's wait for a month. Let's just delay things for a month. It's all good. So what? You got a song out. Great. So what? It dropped 2 days before his arrest. Great. Put it out. Leave it out there. Let's wait a month. Let's just give it a month. And then we drop everything. How's that? You know what I'm saying? But this was days, if not weeks, after everything that's been going on. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. Something about this seems a little bit odd, in my personal opinion. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that we should be dragging this guy through over the coals and, throwing him under the bus and whatnot. No, it's his life. Let him do what he needs to do. But at the same time, I think that timing is of an essence, right? And you could always sit here and go, oh, this was coincidental and all that. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't know. Superman, thank you so much for the love. He didn't know. He didn't know that this was going to happen. He didn't have this planned. Fine. You can say that all day long. But at the same time, you have to look at what's going on here and realize that, okay, let's read the room. And there's some serious stuff that's going on with your brother. And if you were to start going, hey, check out this song and blah, 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 people are going to react the way that they're reacting, exactly how they're reacting. Sure, let this kid breathe. Let him be an artist. Let him do his thing. But I'm telling you right now, his management team or whoever is behind him making these decisions, well, maybe they need to back up and just say, hey, let's just take a little bit of a break. Because right now, your brother's in the forefront, and that's what everybody's seeing right now. Let's wait a little bit as the dust settles, and then we could drop music. Like I said, guys, timing is everything. Do you know how many other things that we've seen? Do you know how many other things we've seen, guys? You know how many things that we've seen where a movie's about to drop and then somebody gets accused of like the R or SA or something of that sort, and suddenly they have to like pause everything, regroup, and wait for some of these allegations to subside, or they'll actually reshoot the whole freaking thing with a whole different actor. That's happened a million times before they release the actual movie. Those things have happened. That has happened. So again, if it's been done before, I mean, they could do it. They could for damn show do it again here. But again, maybe his team is sitting there going like, listen, you can tell everybody that this is not about your brother and you're not trying to ride on the coattails of your brother's situation. But we are thinking that that's the best way to do it. So let's do it. You see what I'm saying? Crazy stuff, though, guys. Crazy, crazy stuff. I don't blame both sides in the situation. I don't blame the people that are clutching their pearls, and I don't blame the people who are sitting there going like, let the kid live. Let him live. But at the same time, timing is everything, guys. Timing. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in, being a part of the conversation. We're going to have a lot more to talk about here in the near future, but unfortunately, I have got to go. So please do me a favor before we head out, okay? Hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button down below. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there, too. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. We'll be talking here very, very soon. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. Gotta be real. It is random. All right? Stay safe out there. Stay safe and healthy out there, guys. Okay? You can check out my Patreon. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. All right? But anyway, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there. Love you. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.